Tomo News presents Don't Eat That and Don't Watch This Before Going to Lunch.
Worms found in KFC chicken wings. If you're eating right now, do yourself a favor and put down your food before you watch this. Authorities in India shut down a KFC after they verified a complaint that worms were found in their chicken in October 2012. Now, a woman in China, identified only by her surname Liu, found the same creepy crawlers wiggling in her leftover chicken wings that she bought from a Guangzhou KFC. Miss Liu told Hong Kong's Apple Daily that she and her children ordered takeout from KFC Saturday afternoon. After a few hours, she went to finish the food and found tiny white worms squirming around on her New Orleans-style chicken wings. Liu immediately contacted the media. One reporter came by, cut open one of the chicken wings, and found 6 or 7 live worms in the meat. They waited till the manager turned up at the greasy chicken shop to file a complaint, but Miss Liu was only compensated with a refund and another free combo meal. Seriously? Liu found the response unacceptable. She didn't even receive an apology from the manager. A spokesman for the KFC restaurant told the reporter that the chicken wings were grilled on high heat and there were no problems with the food processing or the management.
One man's best friend is another man's dinner. This picture, which has been making the rounds on social media recently, shows the heart-shattering moment a 5-year-old girl finds her dog that's been missing for several days. According to China's People's Daily Online, the little girl had raised the dog, which was named Flower, in a rural part of northern Vietnam. For 3 years, the two were together until one day, her dog went missing. She searched for Flower for several days. Nothing could prepare the little girl for what came next, and no therapy will ever reverse the impact of spotting your beloved pet dead, roasted, and available for sale. Canine cuisine is still very popular in parts of Vietnam, South Korea, and China. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your dog is? Dead rodent found in Subway sandwich in Oregon. Finding something nasty and unexpected in your food at a restaurant is the last thing you want. When Jay Armstead and Matt Jones went to the Subway restaurant in Lincoln City, Oregon for their lunch break, they were shocked to find a rodent in the spinach of a sandwich. Jones documented the incident by snapping a picture, and a Subway employee gave them a full refund. Following the discovery of a rodent in the spinach, the entire contaminated stock was disposed of, and the restaurant passed a health check. Unfortunately, for previous customers, they unknowingly ate spinach that came in contact with the rodent, which is believed to have gotten into the sandwich from the bagged spinach rather than coming from somewhere inside the restaurant. Jones reportedly called Subway headquarters customer service to complain and ask that other customers be notified about the rodent, but he said they laughed and said that would be impossible. Cheryl Connell, director of Lincoln County Health and Human Services, said that although it's not very appetizing, the risk of someone getting sick from eating spinach from the same bin as a rodent is pretty low.
Sewing needles and pills found embedded in Halloween candy. Police across the U.S. are urging parents to check all uneaten Halloween candy after complaints were made throughout the country about foreign objects found inside of them. A Philadelphia man that was checking the candy his children acquired while trick-or-treating on Saturday night discovered a sewing needle inside a Twix chocolate candy bar. On Sunday afternoon, a 12-year-old boy turned in a Twix candy bar that also had a needle embedded in it to the police. A total of 5 Twix candy bars given out on Saturday in the Stenning Hills area around South Union Street and West South Street were found with needles inside. Just before Halloween, on October 24th, an Ohio girl reportedly found a razor blade inside her Snickers candy bar. Needles were also reported inside a piece of Twizzlers candy in Maryland, while pills were discovered lodged inside candy in Alberta, Canada. No injuries have been reported. Police are investigating whether the candy was intentionally tampered with before being given to children, or if the items were placed inside them during the manufacturing process. California man claims KFC sold him Kentucky Fried Rat. What does rat taste like? Kind of like chicken we hear. Deep fried chicken. Deep fried chicken from Kentucky, in fact. DeVorest Dixon went to a Compton, California KFC on June 11th and ordered a 3-piece chicken tender set. But as he dug into his meal, he says he noticed one of the pieces was rather hard and rubbery, and oh, it also appeared to have a tail. He then posted this picture on Facebook of what he claims is a deep-fried rat, which of course went Black Plague viral. Unsurprisingly, KFC has strenuously denied serving deep-fried rat, and the fast food giant says if you look at the picture from a different angle, it appears much less rat-like. And yeah, we have to admit, from this angle it does look like it could pass for chicken, or whatever mystery meat they're using these days. KFC even offered to pay to have the meat in question tested in a lab, but say they have not received a response from Mr. Dixon or anyone representing him. Do you think there's even a tiny possibility of KFC in California is serving rat? Now, deep-fried bat we might buy, but rat sounds fishy, or ratty, or something.
China selling 40-year-old Cultural Revolution meat. In China, things get better with age. And for a society so focused on history, it's easy to understand the latest craze sweeping the country. It's not vintage clothes or cars. This time, it's vintage historical meats. Chinese authorities seized some 800 tons of smuggled frozen meat in Hunan province in an operation that is part of a month-long crackdown on the illegal trade. The confiscated meat included poultry and beef, supposedly worth 10 million yuan, or $1.6 million. Some of the packages were rotten, while others were found thawing in boiling hot shipping containers. But what the Chinese got really excited about was a batch of meat they found from the 1970s. Meat that was packed and stamped during the height of Mao's Cultural Revolution. The vintage meat was set to be distributed to restaurants, retailers, and supermarkets across China. CCP officials announced that the recovered Mao-era meat will be placed on display next to the slumbering leader in the Mao Mausoleum. Well, maybe not. Chinese officials claim to have seized more than 100,000 tons of smuggled frozen meat worth nearly $500 million in crackdowns across 14 provinces and detained 21 smuggling groups.
Girl bites into McDonald's chicken wrap and tastes frog. Like any kid, this 10-year-old girl was excited to eat at McDonald's, but after taking her first bite, it wasn't exactly a happy meal. On October 31st, Cordelia Buckley and her dad made a snack stop at McDonald's. After a long day trip in the car, they ordered what Cordelia probably thought would be a tasty, tender, big flavor sweet chili chicken wrap. They got their McDonald's meal and were ready to head home. Her dad driving, Cordelia dug into her bag and pulled out her food to feast. But when she bit into the hefty wrap, she immediately tasted something funny. Well, it wasn't so funny, actually, when she put down the wrap and opened it up to find a dead frog. A Halloween prank, maybe? Disgusted, Cordelia's dad says he called McDonald's to complain, but the manager simply offered a refund and asked for the frog back to investigate. A McDonald's spokesman says there's no reason to believe the frog came from their restaurant. The frog, 4 inches long, is now being preserved in the family's freezer. Meanwhile, poor little Cordelia has reportedly sworn off McDonald's forever. Whoever said frog tastes like chicken, anyway.
Frozen raccoon for sale at LA supermarket. A grocery store in a Los Angeles suburb area has been making headlines after a video surfaced showing the store selling frozen raccoons. Christina Dow was shopping at Metro Supermarket in Temple City on Monday. That was where she saw something that made her jaw drop. Frozen whole raccoons with bloody fur packaged in plastic bags. They were selling for $9.99 a pound, with one particular raccoon going for $54.35. Dow filmed her shocking discovery with her cell phone. She also found alligator feet next to the raccoons. She quickly got out of the supermarket while still filming, making sure her video shows the name of the store. She then uploaded the video to social media and reported the shop to the Los Angeles County Health Department. A supermarket employee told CBS Los Angeles that raccoons, which don't exist in wild China, are considered a Chinese delicacy for certain dishes. But is it legal to sell raccoon meat in California? The answer is yes, as long as the origins of the meat are officially approved. The supermarket has since stopped selling raccoons until it gets approval.
China's controversial dog meat festival angers activists. In celebration of the summer solstice, locals in Yulin, China hold a festival where it's customary to eat dog meat and lychee fruit. Animal rights activists in China and around the world are speaking out about the treatment of the dogs before they are prepared for lunch or dinner. Most of the trade during the festival, which tallies to around 10,000 dogs, is reportedly illegal, with little to no regulations governing the conditions the animals are kept in. Local traditions related to eating dog meat date back to around 500 years ago, and dog meat is reputed to help people beat the summer heat. Controversy surrounding the festival and the practice of eating dogs includes the fact that some of the dogs are kidnapped pets that are then sold illegally. Also, the Chinese government is facing more pressure from international animal rights activists to put a stop to the festival. Some activists even spend money to buy dogs directly from the market in a bid to rescue them from being boiled or barbecued and served up for dinner. So what do you think? Is the dog meat festival any worse than eating turkey every year for Thanksgiving? If you think dog meat isn't palatable, they also have cat meat for sale in Yulin.
UK granny discovers dead mouse in bowl full of Kellogg's cornflakes. This probably wasn't the prize Portsmouth resident Pauline Henderson's grandson was expecting when his grandmother poured him a bowl of cereal. But that's apparently just what the 2-year-old got, courtesy of Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Cornflakes. Henderson claimed she was serving little Toby the most important meal of the day early one morning, when she caught sight of the lifeless carcass of a tiny little mouse. Luckily, her discovery came just in the nick of time before Toby could enjoy an extra crunchy spoonful. No word from Kellogg's as to how exactly something like this could have happened. But feel free to leave your best guesses in the comments. Here's ours.
Car salesman horrified to find spider in his sandwich. A British car salesman with arachnophobia was horrified to find a dead spider in his pre-packed pulled pork sandwich. 29-year-old Chris Eastwood bought a pulled pork sandwich from a greenhouse bakery in Cheshire near his workplace. After taking a generous bite out of the sandwich, Chris was horrified to find a dead daddy longlegs baked onto the surface of the bread. Eastwood felt sick and put the sandwich back in its container. Assuming he ate part of the spider's legs, he shut down at work, traumatized. Many of you will probably trivialize Eastwood's reaction, but arachnophobia is an intense fear of any spider, regardless of size and appearance. When he recovered, he called the bakery to complain. An employee came to collect the sandwich and handed him an apology letter, along with 2 gift certificates worth £5. He was outraged by the gift certificates and their paltry sum. He said that gift certificates to a place he's never visiting again are useless and he expected to be treated better. Sandra Ogden, head of marketing for the bakery, said that they were sorry even though they tried to aim for perfection. With a million items produced each week, mistakes do happen.
Chipotle, bringing the freshest E. coli and norovirus to Americans everywhere. For months, Chipotle has been adding a new ingredient to its Mexican cuisine, E. coli, and Americans seem to love it. But with tough competition from traditional Mexican chain Taco Bell, Chipotle has decided to mix things up by adding norovirus to the menu. Boston college students have been experiencing serious bouts of vomiting and explosive diarrhea after eating at the Cleveland Circle Chipotle. The students are being tested for E. coli and norovirus, both of which can cause upchuck and severe runs. Chipotle has been struggling with an E. coli outbreak, which has sickened 52 people in 9 states and battered the burrito chain's sales and stock price. But since Americans are too lazy to cook for themselves, a little E. coli or norovirus won't stop them from eating there. Chipotle is enhancing its food safety measures with DNA-based tests, end-of-shelf-life testing, and additional internal training. What it should be doing is just changing up its marketing. Looking for a quick cleanse or a way to shed some pounds? Head over to Chipotle.
Arriba, arriba, ándale, ándale!
Chipotle E. coli outbreak infects 39. United States health officials are investigating the cause of a toxic bacterial outbreak traced at Chipotle restaurants that has infected 39 people and hospitalized 14. A strain of E. coli has infected 29 people in Washington state and 10 in Oregon state. The strain has been identified as E. coli 026. This strain is less dangerous than others, such as the 0157H7 strain that killed 4 children in the 1990s. Health officials suspect the latest outbreak in Chipotle restaurants came from contaminated fresh produce, but are still trying to find its source. The 026 strain produces Shiga toxin, which causes illness 3 to 4 days after consumption. People usually develop stomach cramps or diarrhea. However, some may develop more severe symptoms, leading to a type of kidney failure called hemolytic uremic syndrome, or HUS. Symptoms for HUS include unexplained bruises or bleeding from the nose and mouth, as well as fatigue and fever. Meanwhile, Chipotle has voluntarily closed all of its Washington restaurants and some in Oregon, but the outbreak doesn't seem to be bothering many online. Asherina says she would die happily if it were while eating Chipotle, while Noelle says that it would take more than a little E. coli to stop her eating at Chipotle. And Amanda A says that having just read about people contracting E. coli, she's now hungry for some Chipotle. But what about you guys? Would a potentially killer bacterial outbreak stop you from eating at your favorite restaurant?
Bangkok Airways has formally apologized to 2 passengers who found a cockroach's leg on the side of one of their fruit bowls. According to Bangkok Air Catering, the cockroach likely entered the area where food was packaged. This was probably where the cockroach's leg was squished under a wrapper before being transported onto a Bangkok Airways plane. Luckily, the passenger noticed the insect's limb before putting any food in her mouth. But the big question is, where did the rest of the cockroach go?
10-month-old baby swallows safety pin, safely removed. Kids will eat anything, and they often do. It's something this pair of new parents in Taiwan learned the hard way. This 10-month-old baby boy swallowed a safety pin after his mother accidentally left a new blouse on the dresser near his crib. The tag on the blouse was attached with a tiny gold safety pin. Unbeknownst to his parents, the baby boy pulled the blouse into his crib and began chewing on the paper tag. His dad came in later and saved his wife's blouse and what was left of the paper tag from his son. The dad said he removed paper scraps from his son's mouth and gave him a cracker to chew on instead. The father was shocked when his son choked on the cracker and began vomiting. He was even more horrified when he saw that there was blood in his son's vomit. The 2 parents rushed their son to the emergency room, where doctors took an x-ray of their son and revealed that there was an open safety pin stuck in his throat. Doctors were able to remove the safety pin during surgery and said there shouldn't be any permanent damage.